What's going on, everybody? James Rivertime 100 here, and today we're going to be doing a top 5 list. And before I get into what it's all about and what we're going to be doing in it, I'd like to introduce to you a special guest from Dak Robitaille 2000.
New name. It's AC Robitaille.
AC Robitaille.
Don't know why. I typed
My
it.
little brother,
I guess wrong.
Dak Robitaille. Go away.
Oh.
Stop it. This is a family show. Anyway, today we're going to be...
Threw me on his bed.
Today we're going to be talking about the top 10 most powerful Avengers in Avengers Endgame.
Yes.
So, Dakota, is there anything you would like to talk about before we get started on our top 10 list?
You're not gonna talk about how your experience was for Endgame.
My experience was fantastic. The audience was great. Everyone was respectful with each other. Nobody was making too many noises. There was one infant in the theater, but that's besides the point. Overall, great movie. I enjoyed it. Spoilers are going to be going around here, but I'm not going to tell you to beware because guess what?
It's been 3 weeks.
They lifted the ban, so let's just go ahead and get right into...
Yes. My experience was amazing, especially at one point you're going to hear about.
Alright, so, be quiet now.
Aww.
Starting off our list at number 5, Dakota, would you like to give our number 5 spot?
Okay, as long as I can get number 1s.
Go ahead.
At number 5, we have the one and only Captain Marvel.
Now, Captain Marvel, I'm putting her at number 5. One, because she is one of the most powerful Avengers out there now. After her her standalone movie just was released recently. She was not in Endgame too much. I'd give her maybe 30 minutes of screen time total. But she did fly up. She did fly and save Iron Man and Nebula from floating around in space a day before their oxygen ran out. She also she took a headbutt from Thanos and didn't move an inch. So she is very powerful here, and she does show that with her actions and fighting off all of these previous evil doers as we saw come back from the MCU. So that's going to wrap it up for Captain Marvel. So yes, she is sitting solid at number 5. Coming in at number 4, Thor. Thor is actually probably going to be a surprise to many on this list because in Avengers Endgame, as you all know, he's a fat drunk basically after he kills Thanos in the very beginning. He goes to New Asgard. He sits out with his buddy Korg. Yeah, I was lost for words there. He sits with Korg. He's fat. He's drunk. All he wants is alcohol and stuff like that. But he does prove himself worthy of Mjolnir, as they do go back in time the day that his mother gets killed from, I believe it was... What movie was that from? Thor?
Oh. The Dark World, I want to say.
I believe it was from the Dark World. If I'm not, please correct me in the comments below. He is still worthy...
That one or the first one?
Yes. He's still worthy of Mjolnir as he goes and retrieves that for the final battle against Thanos and all the other bad guys.
And still has Stormbreaker.
And still wields Stormbreaker. So he's wielding Stormbreaker and Mjolnir at the exact same time. This is not going to be the last time that you hear about Mjolnir on this list. So
definitely not.
Just hang in there. Coming in at number 3.
We have the Hulk, who has not seen much of Infinity War.
The Hulk, it's very impressive what they did with him in Endgame. As you remember back in Infinity War, he was actually not seen, barely. Bruce Banner, played by Mark Ruffalo, he tries to get the Hulk out to come in through battles. Continuously, the Hulk just comes out and just says no and then shrinks back in. If you remember in Endgame, that's because, as Bruce told us, was that he was treating him like a virus, like something he didn't want. But after he learned to accept the Hulk for who he was, he was able to live half and half. Still, even though they did not show it in Endgame, he could have gone back to a complete Bruce or complete Hulk at whichever one he wanted. So, he snapped his fingers after they made their own Iron Gauntlet. He snapped his fingers and undid the whole decimation, which is very amazing. I was not expecting him to do it, but the reason behind it, if you remember, is because of when he snapped, it's all pretty much producing gamma, which is exactly what the Hulk is made of. He's made up of gamma. So, with that, being able to come to become 2-1 with the Hulk, snapping his fingers and still being able to fight after that, really throws him up there on this list. So he's sitting solidly at number 3. I apologize for that. Coming in at number 2, we have Iron Man. I know it's kind of heart-wrenching to hear that, because he did unfortunately pass after he got the Infinity Stones back from Thanos at the very end, snapped and decimated all evil. All the evil was decimated.
And that was it.
Very, very heart-wrenching to watch that final scene where he snaps, I am Iron Man, boom, gone.
I am inevitable.
So, the funeral scene at the end, really gut-wrenching. I started to cry with that. I'm gonna admit I did. But, another thing that really makes him the second most powerful Avenger from Endgame is, if you remember back in Infinity War, when they were all fighting on the destroyed planet of Titan, you remember him punching Thanos in the head, and Thanos just kind of brushes off, and he drips just a little blood. Nobody else was able to produce blood from Thanos except Iron Man. So,
Thor, because he stabbed him.
well, I'm also speaking of just hand-on-hand combat here. When it was Nebula, Star-Lord, Peter Parker, he was the only one to actually get a drop of blood.
Yeah.
Nobody else could. So, with all these powers mixed in, snapping his fingers, being bold enough to do so, fighting off, although he was almost killed in Infinity War, being stabbed, just having all of that power, willpower to do so, which is something Green Lantern might have said. But I know he's DC, not Marvel. I'm just cross-referencing this. Again, just the willpower to do so, being that I can't really say anything else but willpower here. So his bravery, his actual actions, etc., puts him there at number 2. At number 1, we're gonna say it at 1, 2, 3.
Captain America.
I am saying Captain America is here at number 1 for a number of reasons. One, he was destroyed. He was just emotionally destroyed after the death of Black Widow, the decimation. I believe he really showed it here after he had to go back in time that he was still deep down very upset about not having Peggy.
Definitely.
Peggy Carter.
And can I say this next reason?
Yes, you may. He's fantastic with his shield wielding thing, eccentricities going on now. Dakota, please don't jump around anymore. You're about to knock over all my displays.
Oh.
Also, made me lose my train of thought.
Sorry.
You're fine. Going back in time, seeing Peggy, like I said, going at the very end, going back to the past to live out his life with Peggy and becoming an old man at the very end, and handing off his shield
to
Falcon. Really, that's really.
There, I started to cry.
That's very hard for him to do. However, if you also remember, when he did go back in time, you saw that he had to fight his previous self. And that took a lot of strength for him to do so, because he's going up against himself with the exact same strength and all that. And also, it's been kind of funny with him, Captain America, going into the elevator with the Hydra members that have the scepter, Loki's scepter. He just leans over and just whispers, "You can trust me." Then he whispers, "Hail Hydra," to one of the guys. And he's like, "Oh crap." And he just walks out of there with the scepter. So
instead of a scene like Winter Soldier where he's in an elevator with the Hydra agents.
It was actually the very first Avengers battle in the New York area. Now, that's pretty much it for Captain America. I'm going to let my brother explain this very last reason because he's so excited to do this. So Dakota, would you like to get up here on these pillows I have stacked and go ahead and talk?
I stood up and everyone was screaming at this moment during the final battle. Thanos and Thor are both holding Stormbreaker, where Thanos is driving it into his chest.
Thrusting it.
Same thing.
No, it's not.
Anyway, it cuts to a scene where you see Mjolnir lifting up, flying and hitting Thanos in the head, stopping and finally coming back for Captain America to catch it. And then later he, when every Avenger is lined up ready for battle, he says, Avengers, holds his hand out, catches the hammer, assemble. And then they all go out. And then later in that battle, you see him and Thor fighting against Thanos. And Stormbreaker goes to Cap, and Mjolnir goes to Thor, and he's like, and Thor's like, no, I'll take that. So,
yes, a very powerful moment there, showing his true power. As you can see on the whiteboard here, I did my best drawing of
Mjolnir.
And then I have the arrow pointing to Captain America's shield. So that's pretty much it there. So thank you all for tuning in to this top 5 video for Avengers Endgame. If you liked it, go ahead and hit that like button. Comment down below your thoughts, suggestion for my next video. But for now, everybody, this is James Robitaille 100 signing off. Have a fantastic day.